if you think about who unfortunately has less empathy, if we're just thinking in a macro perspective, it, the way we do unfortunately raise boys to be men, we teach them that if they show any sort of um, kindness, softness, we're scared. Oh no, my son is acting like a girl, or my son might be gay. And there's a societal disincentive, unfortunately, built in for boys to keep that empathy as they grow older. And then as they treat each other in friendships, there's also not much acceptance. And so I'm wondering how, if we want more empathy in the world, I think a great place to start would be boys. But then on another level, we also want to help men that are boys and men that are struggling to learn these skills to have better relationally. As everyone knows now, hopefully there's more news on it right now that the suicide rates of boys and men are 4 or 5 to 1 to women,
Yeah.
and they're suffering quite a lot these days. And so I guess, and I'm thinking about it because maybe this is something, because I'm right now developing a way for boys and men to reconnect with themselves for what I'm researching. And how would you apply some of your training program and in Sapiens Reinvented to, let's say, boys and men, to help them connect better with themselves and cultivate empathy? Like what have you developed to try to turn the tide on this, if you will?
First of all, we have to understand that is cultural.
Yeah.
That we have a culture that actually stems from these early, very primitive, survival-based, predispositions. That men are warriors, and this will lead to the wussification of men,
Right.
and that we need strong, aggressive. If you need violent, that's your manhood. Well, that will take us over the cliff. That's
Yes.
not going to preserve the species. So we have to, as parents, as leaders, as people who have an influence in terms of how we have our children think about what does it mean to be a man? Maybe that has to change. Maybe there's a different mandate that if we don't get this right, violence is not going to solve the ultimate dilemma of our species, and that is we're destroying our own.
Yeah.
We're going to destroy the species from within. And if we don't get that right, it's game over. So we need
Hmm.
a new mindset that strength and a warrior attitude is really a warrior in the sense of understanding other people, trying to find other ways of dealing with conflict other than violence, of caring, capacity, having this empathy circuit deeply woven into how you think, how you solve problems, how you resolve differences. And if that part of your brain is more active, it will actually operate this whole neural processing system for a different outcome.
Right.
And we are fighting a cultural system that, you know, you tend to father or mother the way you've been brought up. And we
Hmm.
have always kind of had this ethos that if you're a strong male, you don't take anything off of anybody and you stand on your own 2 feet and you're a tough guy and the
Right.
tough guy is going to win. Well, I'm not saying that's not necessarily true, but what does toughness mean? It's the ability to see solutions other than just simply violence and extreme aggressiveness. So um, it's a re education process, and that process has to take place every single day. And
Yes.
with parents, with teachers, with coaches, we need a new paradigm desperately. And what you're speaking of is real and it has to be addressed. But my highest priority is in raising children and young people to have a different way of dealing with these issues and understand the importance of caring, connection, and even mature competitors. We now see that may be the most important circuit you have for you to have a fulfilled and truly long, successful career where you're not living and dying by your last performance, because there'll be a time when you don't compete anymore. And then
Right.
who are you? You're a zero. You have nothing to fall back on except yesterday's performance.